Alongside David Pagnotta, I'm Irfaan Gaffar on the fourth period. And our immediate reaction, David, is the Vancouver Canucks have traded their captain, Bo Horvat, to the New York Islanders.
Yeah, that's right, Irf. Our number one guy on the trade watch list is now a member of the Islanders. He goes to Long Island in exchange for Anthony Beauvillier, Aatu Raty, and a first-round pick that is conditional and is top 12 protected. If the pick ends up in the top 12, the Isles keep it. The Canucks get an unconditional first-round pick in 2024. A solid return, certainly, for Bo Horvat. And we were told on Friday, Irf, Friday night, late after their game on Friday, to expect a move sooner rather than later. That was the quote that I was told. Talked about it on NHL radio on Saturday, wrote about it yesterday, and I'll be honest, I didn't think sooner rather than later meant Monday, but here we are. Horvat is a member of the New York Islanders, and prior to the trade, no extension talk. That has started, so we will follow up. We may have another thing to talk about later on, but that has at least started to give the Islanders an understanding of to where they stand with respect to Bo Horvat's immediate future anyway. And the Vancouver Canucks get the pieces that they were looking for. They wanted an NHL-ready prospect. He may spend some more time in the AHL, but Raty is right up there, scoring 2 goals in 12 games with the Isles. They get a first-round pick as part of the deal. Beauvillier rounds things off and helps things get massaged a little from a cap perspective.
Yeah, I'd say it's interesting you mentioned extension. I think the biggest thing for Bo Horvat and his side is it's a sense of relief. I mean, the saga's over. You don't really got to talk about it anymore. And I think for the Vancouver Canucks, you get your new head coach. You move on from your captain, and now you can kind of shift the focus to your team now and the future of it. But for Dave, when you look at Bo Horvat, the market for him right now says 8 times 8, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, based on his performance so far this season, 31 goals in 49 games this year. He had 31 goals all of last season for the Vancouver Canucks. So definitely looks like you're looking at an $8 million starting point, on an AAV. And I've got to imagine that Lamoriello and the Islanders had that understanding when making this trade. So now you have a chance to talk to his agent, Pat Morris, and try to see if you can come to an understanding on an extension, because I obviously would have to imagine that that's going to be part of it. But you're right. Huge relief, I've got to believe here, for Bo Horvat. 4 assists in his final game as a member of the Canucks. He took, and you watch the video, and it looks like he's taking a little bit of extra time, kind of looking around, soaking it all in. And then 20 minutes later, messages galore, expect some movement soon. And again, I didn't anticipate this being Monday. But here we are. Or if we knew the Islanders were poking around on this one, this kind of goes back to the summer when the JT Miller discussions were going on involving the Islanders. So there was familiarity in their discussions, certainly between Alvin and Lamoriello. But here we are. Dallas loses out. Seattle loses out. Carolina loses out. Vegas, and so on and so on. The Islanders win the Horvat sweepstakes.
One final one, Dave. Where does Bo fit in with the New York Islanders, right? You look at their centers right now. Where does he fit in on that roster?
Yeah, well, Brock Nelson can slot over to the left side. He's played the left wing before, so there is that possibility, and that would be my initial inclination, is that Nelson, not Barzal, gets moved over to the wing. And maybe this is a position where you put Nelson alongside Barzal to spread the offense out a little bit more. Nelson's more of your goal scorer. Now you've got Horvat, who's more of the goal scorer on the second unit. It wouldn't shock me at all to see a little bit of juggling in that regard. You play Horvat with Anders Lee. You've got 2 lines that can now do some damage. And we all know that the Islanders have been desperate for offense really this entire season, but this month alone has amplified that. This is the right move in terms of the acquisition. We'll see how things work out in the long haul.
Yeah, Jim Rutherford, Patrick Alvin have started their major construction, and they did that by trading their captain. Bo Horvat will leave the Vancouver Canucks after playing 621 games and recording 420 points. David, thank you very much for this, and we'll see you in Florida.
Can't wait.